The Verdani exploration team had been studying Kepler 442b's equatorial jungle for 3 standard months when the phenomenon began. Every species capable of producing sound, from the canopy-dwelling shriekbirds to the ground-dwelling percussion beetles, fell silent simultaneously. The jungle, which moments before had been a cacophony of alien life, became a cathedral of stillness. Atmospheric pressure stable, reported Commander Thex, his chitinous fingers dancing across holographic displays. The insectoid officer's compound eyes reflected the green luminescence of the monitoring equipment. No seismic activity, no electromagnetic disturbances. This makes no sense. Dr. Veros, a centaurian with silver skin that rippled like mercury, checked his biological scanners for the 17th time. Every organism within a 5-kilometer radius has ceased vocalization, simultaneously. Commander, in 40 years of xenobiology, I've never encountered synchronized behavioral modification on this scale without external stimulus. The silence had descended like a shroud 3 times now, always lasting exactly 17 minutes before the jungle's symphony resumed. Each time the Verdani had scrambled to identify the cause. Each time they had found nothing. It was during the 4th occurrence that Angelina noticed the pattern. The human child, barely 10 Earth years old, sat cross-legged outside the research dome, her dark eyes fixed on the tree line. She had arrived on Kepler 442b with the civilian transport 2 weeks prior, daughter of the settlement's chief engineer. While the adult researchers panicked over their instruments, Angelina simply watched and waited. "There," she whispered, pointing toward a gap in the massive fern-like fronds. Through the prehistoric foliage emerged the most unlikely pair the exploration team had ever witnessed. First came Aldo, a human boy of perhaps 12, his clothes torn and stained with the purple sap of native plants. Behind him, moving with an oddly synchronized gait, waddled a creature that made the xenobiologist's collective breath catch. It resembled Earth's honey badger in the way a supernova resembles a candle flame. Meter-long crystalline quills covered its back, refracting the jungle's bioluminescence into prismatic warnings. 6 legs supported a muscular body plated with overlapping scales that shifted colors with each step, a living mood ring of aggression. Most disturbing were its eyes, forward-facing, intelligent, and currently locked on the research team with calculating malevolence. Yet the creature walked beside Aldo like a loyal hound. "Impossible," Dr. Veros breathed. "That's a thornback ravager. They're solitary apex predators." Neural scans showed problem-solving intelligence rivaling Earth dolphins. One specimen killed 4 of our security drones last month. Commander Thex reached for his plasma rifle. "Security Protocol Delta. That thing is classified as hyper-aggressive." "No!" Angelina's shout stopped the commander's hand. "Look at them." The team looked. Really looked. Aldo moved through the jungle with preternatural awareness, his bare feet finding purchase on roots and stones without hesitation. The ravager matched his pace exactly, occasionally using its crystalline quills to cut through particularly dense vegetation. The boy would pause. The creature would pause. The boy would change direction. The creature would follow, but it was more than mere following. There was communication happening, silent, subtle, profound. "The silence," Angelina said softly. "It happens when they move together. The jungle is showing respect." Dr. Veros recalibrated his scanners, focusing on the pair. His silver skin flickered with shock. "Extraordinary. I'm detecting harmonic resonance between the boy's neural patterns and the ravagers. They're not just synchronized, they're sharing consciousness at some level." Aldo approached the dome's perimeter, and for the first time, the team got a clear view of his condition. Scars crisscrossed his arms, not wounds, but healed marks in geometric patterns. His eyes held a depth that no child's eyes should possess, ancient and young simultaneously. "I'm Aldo," the boy said in perfect galactic standard, though records showed he'd been raised speaking only English and Spanish. "This is Guardian. We've been together since the crash." "The crash?" Commander Thex's mandibles clicked with confusion. "What crash?" "The civilian shuttle that disappeared 4 months ago," Dr. Veros said, pulling up records. "All hands presumed lost in the eastern mountain range. There was a child on the manifest, Aldo Martinez, age 12. "I survived," Aldo confirmed simply. "Guardian found me. Or I found Guardian. Time got strange for a while." He rested his hand on the ravager's scaled head. The creature's quills retracted slightly. a gesture the xenobiologists would later identify as contentment. This planet isn't like yours. The life here doesn't just exist, it thinks, it decides, it chooses. The Ravager Guardian made a sound that defied description. Part purr, part seismic rumble, part something that bypassed ears and spoke directly to the brainstem. The jungle remained silent, but the team felt that sound in their bones. When you respect the jungle, it respects you back, Aldo continued. When you try to dominate it, classify it, control it, it shows you what it thinks of that. His young face grew serious. Humans understand this. We evolved alongside predators in jungles like this. We learned to listen. Angelina stood up slowly, drawing her parents' alarmed protests. She walked to the perimeter, stopping just before the boundary markers. Guardian's crystalline eyes fixed on her, but the creature didn't move. "May I?" Angelina asked. Aldo smiled. A real child's smile, bright and warm despite everything. "Guardian says you already know how to listen. She smells it on you." The girl stepped across the boundary. Her parents gasped. Commander Thex raised his rifle. Guardian lowered her massive head, and Angelina placed her small hand between the creature's eyes. The Ravager's scales rippled through a spectrum of colors, violet, amber, deep blue, and finally settling on soft green. The jungle exhaled. Slowly, the sounds began to return. First the percussion beetles, then the shriek birds, then the 1,000 other voices of Kepler 442b's wilderness. But they sounded different now. Not cacophonous, but harmonious. "This is why the galaxy needs humans," Dr. Veros said quietly, his silver skin displaying patterns of awe. "Not for your weapons or your ships or your mathematics, but for this, your ability to build bridges where others see only barriers." Aldo looked back toward the jungle, toward the life he'd built in survival's crucible. Guardian pressed against his side, protective and proud. "The galaxy's about to get a lot more interesting," the boy said, "because this planet's ready to teach anyone willing to learn." "And humans?" He grinned. "We've always been excellent students when the lesson matters." As the research team watched, boy and beast turned back into the jungle. The vegetation parted for them like a curtain, closing behind them with gentle finality. The silence descended once more, but this time the Verdani understood. It wasn't absence of sound. It was the jungle paying attention. And somewhere in that living cathedral, humanity had made its most important first contact, not with the stars above, but with the earth below.